Hey folks, Alex McMahon here of Evolve Nutritional Therapy. This is the second video in our series on 3 huge fat loss mistakes that I see people making. So in the last video, we spoke about the number one biggest mistake that I see most people making, and that is under eating protein. The next biggest thing that I see people doing is not engaging in any kind of tracking. Now, people inherently just have really poor calorie and portion awareness with no form of tracking to follow. It gets even worse when you have people try to recall an entire day's worth of eating. They generally forget all the snacks that they have in between meals, all the samples that they got at the grocery store, and all the bites that they had while preparing food at home. Now, on a day-to-day basis, that seemingly doesn't seem like a big deal. However, when you add that up on weeks and months, that's definitely enough food that the person's missing out and not cognizant about eating that is big enough to make a dent in that person's fat loss. Now, that's just their snacking that they don't even think about. When you add up the fact that most people have a real poor calorie and portion awareness when it comes to their meals, it gets even worse. So let's assume you have oatmeal every day. And in that oatmeal, you're eating like 75 to 100 calories more than you think on a day-to-day basis, just at that breakfast, just for that oatmeal. Well, at the end of the week, that's 700 extra calories. That's a fifth a pound of fat just from breakfast that you could be overestimating. So that's why I think it's really important, if anybody's fat loss has stalled, to engage in some kind of tracking. Now, it could just be a food journal. You literally just write down everything you eat for 3 days in a row. You punch that into a MyFitnessPal. You see where your calories and your macronutrients are at, and you kind of make adjustments there. But the fact is, if you don't have any kind of data, if you don't know how much food you're actually eating on a daily basis, it becomes really difficult to know what kind of adjustments you should be making. More often than not, when I have clients and I have them tracked for a few days just to see where they're at, there's a lot of aha moments. A lot of people end up over-consuming and getting a lot more calories from dietary fat than they previously assumed. A lot of people end up really under-eating on protein. And a lot of people end up with a lot more carbs in their diet than they thought. So it's not that carbs or fats or even protein are bad. It's just if you're eating way more of them than you need, it can be easily enough to make sure that you are not losing body fat. Now, the easy way to do this is, just like I said, get a 3-day food journal, write down every single thing that you eat. Maybe you punch it directly into a MyFitnessPal. You do it for 3 days just to see where you're at, and then during that time, also track your body weight to see what your body's doing. So if you're losing body weight on the amount of calories that you're currently eating, then that should be totally fine. However, if you've hit a plateau and you've stalled out, adjust those calories down by like 200 to 300 and see what happens to your body weight. So if you're not engaging in any kind of tracking, if you don't have any way to gauge portion sizes, go ahead and use something like a MyFitnessPal. Use something like the Precision Nutrition, palm's worth of protein, closed fists for veggies, open cupped hand for starchy carbs, and then thumbs for fat kind of portion sizing. That's another way to do it as well. So that's the big mistake number 2 that I see people making, is not having any way to gauge the food intake that they have, especially if they're in any kind of fat loss plateau. So thank you for watching. That is point number 2. We're going to be covering calories and why cutting them too quickly isn't a good idea in the 3rd video. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram at Evolve Nutritional Therapy. You can find me on Twitter and Snapchat at EvolveNTPDX. You can find me on Facebook at Evolve Nutritional Therapy LLC, or you can email me directly at evolvent.pdx@gmail.com. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in video 3.